So it is that time again. It is my what I watched in January. Now this month is actually going to be a little bit different because if you go on my letterbox, it's actually kind of crazy. I've logged like 71 films on Letterbox for this month, and that will never happen again because basically uh, there are going to be like close to 20 movies that's not going to be on this list just because they're all Ingmar Bergman films. And I've been getting into Ingmar Bergman's filmography like really heavy. Like I'm doing the Criterion set plus separate releases, and I'm going to do a big Ingmar Bergman video, which I'm excited about. I don't know when that's coming out though. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to watch those while I've been out of the house. So that's the only reason why I've been able to watch like 71 films in a month, just because I've been fortunate enough in the morning to watch like one or two Bergman films and just get it over with basically. And I've been watching the ones that I'm not really as excited to watch, and then I'm going to move on to the bigger ones. But I had seen Seventh Seal beforehand, and I had a chance to revisit that. And love Seventh Seal and Wild Strawberries, but those were the only two that I had seen previously. But yeah, so anyway, and also on top of that, theater visits. Like I saw Zone of Interest again. What else? What was it? I saw ISS. I feel like there was another film that I watched, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Yeah, and I've also been watching True Detective Night Country, and I watched Alex Garland's Devs. But anyway, let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and do what I watched in January. So this was one that I actually almost watched, and I'm glad that I didn't, and I just put it in the pile. And that's Workmaster Harmonies from Bellator. Now, I am glad because I got the 4K from Amazon for Criterion whenever that comes out, but I've had the DVD and I was going to watch it and I didn't, thankfully, but I figured I'd just show you guys the DVD that I got. Better Watch Out. This one's unopened, but I actually watched it while I was out on Tubi. Just because I just wanted to watch something and I had this in the pile and I was like, you know what, I'll go ahead and watch it. And yeah, it had a pretty interesting twist that I wasn't expecting. Nice little Christmas flick. Buster Keaton, the General. When I watch this, I'm just like, how did Buster Keaton not die? I've not seen Three Ages. I've only seen the General. But it's you know, a quick watch. It's a classic, and I feel like it's like something that every stuntman can watch and just have a good time. You know, just because Buster Keaton was absolutely a madman. But yeah, if you haven't seen The General, I mean, you probably have, but I really have nothing else to add to it. Now, this, I did not watch all of this, but I did watch, actually, yeah, but I guess I could say I watched The Shining. I didn't log it, but and I've seen The Shining multiple times, so this isn't the first time that I've seen it. But the interesting thing is I bought the DVD, this version in particular, because I've only had the Blu-ray and I've only had the 4K. And the interesting thing about Stanley Kubrick's films, especially from A Clockwork Orange all the way up to Eyes Wide Shut, is there's sort of this weird thing of what aspect ratio he intended the film to be shown in, because he shot everything unmatted in 4:3, and then it was altered for, or I think it was either 133 one or 137 one, although it could be 118 one, I believe, from the original 35 millimeter film prints. But yeah, this is like the closest that you can get to the original aspect ratio he preferred, just because, you know, that's what home TVs were 4:3 back in the day. So when you are watching The Shining, albeit from a Blu-ray or a 4K, you are watching a very cropped version of it. And even on the back of this, it says this feature is presented in the full aspect ratio of the original camera negative as Stanley Kubrick intended. So, you know, take that for what you will. It's this whole big discussion and stuff. So save your comments of disagreement if you don't think so, because I don't think anybody knows. And it's funny because as Kubrick is my favorite director, but it's like crazy as Kubrick was with attention to detail and perfectionism, you can still see the helicopter blades and the helicopter shadow in this one, and you can also still see the helicopter blades in the 4K. But that's just me nitpicking. I love The Shining though, a lot. All right, let's move on to the Blu-rays. Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. I actually watched like the first 3/4 of this film a long time ago and never finished it, so I decided to check it out, and I enjoy it. I really love me a good documentary, mockumentary style film, but this one is interesting because it basically takes the slasher film and turns it on its head to where you're following this slasher with this documentary crew, and Robert Englund's in this, and there's a lot of cool cameos. It's actually really, really fun. Hardcore Henry. This was actually a first-time watch for me for the full film. It's just fun, you know. It's just good fun watching somebody in first person kill a bunch of people. It does sort of overstay its welcome to an extent, just because with it being in first person, you know, it just you get to the point to where when you're watching it, you almost wish you could kind of play it. But I liked it. Oh, I'm gonna wait and talk about this one. Lady Bird. Now this one is unopened, but I ended up watching this one on Netflix. I just watch it on Netflix, but I'm glad that I have the physical version. And I like Lady Bird. Probably not as much as other people do, but I still enjoy it. The Holdovers. I watched bits and pieces of it. I did not want to revisit this film just yet. I'm not ready for all that, but this is my favorite film of last year. But yeah, and they actually announced a 4K, which I wish they kind of just would have done that beforehand, but I already got the Blu-ray. Angst. This is Gaspar Noé's one of his favorite films, and I've had this in my watch pile forever. And my buddy LR inspired me to check it out, and I actually enjoy this a lot. You're basically just watching this kid. It's based off of a real life case, and you're basically just watching this killer torment this family and kill them. And it's actually very hyper realistic, I would almost say. And it's, you know, it's disturbing and all that good stuff. If you've not seen it, I don't know if it's something for everybody, but it's a short watch, and if you want to watch it, watch it. It being one of Gaspar Noé's favorite films should tell you something. True Detective. I had to get my True Detective season 1 in before Night Country. I have still not seen season 2 or 3, and I have no desire to at the moment. Maybe I will after Night Country. We're still watching Night Country, but True Detective season 1, there's nothing else to add to it. I just wanted to refresh before Night Country because seems like they might kind of be connected. I know, but all I know is True Detective Season 1 is one of the greatest miniseries of all time. I know it's not a miniseries, but you can watch it without Season 2 or 3, so. Dead of Winter. I did not enjoy this film as much as I thought I would. I was excited to watch it based off the trailer and based off of what people had said about it. And it was enjoyable to an extent, and it had a pretty engaging mystery, and I really enjoyed the atmosphere, but the last half of this film was really hard to get into. Really did remind me something that Brian De Palma would do the first like 10 minutes of the film, but then after that it kind of just went downhill from there, just in my opinion. I actually rebought this film not knowing that I had it, so I've got 2 copies of Winter's Bone. It's got John Hawkes in it with Jennifer Lawrence, and John Hawkes is also in True Detective Night Country. I really enjoy him as an actor. I feel like a lot of people have seen this at this point, but it's got really good atmosphere, and it's got a pretty compelling mystery with the dad. But again, I think there's people that enjoy it more than I do. I don't really care. I try to talk nice about films. I try to, I try not to be overly critical about stuff just because, like as a filmmaker, I don't like to diss on other people's work. And also I feel like, when you are into filmmaking, you sort of appreciate other things that the general audience might not. This film I had a hard time with. Film Socialism from Jean-Luc Godard. I love Jean-Luc Godard, but this film, I just struggled with it. I don't really care much for it at all, honestly. I didn't really care much for it, but I love Jean-Luc Godard. I mean, my big background on my 65-inch 4K TV, which is one of my monitors, is Breathless. It's a big poster of Breathless. So I love Jean-Luc Godard, but I just did not like Film Socialism. I actually liked Say Goodbye to Language more than I liked Film Socialism. Thanksgiving, saw this in theaters, but I got the Blu-ray. Again, I really enjoyed it, but I think people enjoyed it more than I did. But it's a nice slasher film. I need to quit sort of saying that people enjoyed it more than I did. Of course they did. I guess you could say I appreciated it for what it was, and I'm ready for Thanksgiving too. I think it's a good new holiday slasher. And Eli Roth. I mean, I like Eli Roth a lot. Contagion, Steven Soderbergh. I wish that they would quit. I think it's Warner Brothers specifically. I'm not exactly sure. But this film was originally in 185:1 aspect ratio, and they've got this tendency to put things in 16:9 when it's 185:1, and I don't like that at all. And it even says 185:1 on here, but this version is 16:9. But I actually love this film a lot. Like, I absolutely, really, really, really love this film. I know it's a little bit political, but I don't care. I just enjoyed the shit out of this film. Lawrence Fishburne, Mark Wahlberg, Gwyneth Paltrow, I can't even pronounce that. Gwyneth Paltrow, Kate Winslet. Oh my gosh, I love this film so much. And Jude Law. And I'm going to talk about these films together. If you look at my Letterboxd top 4, these are both in it. But Incendies, if you've not seen Incendies, watch this film. I'm not going to say anything about it because I do not want to spoil the twist. And Sicario, I've not seen De Assalto, but I absolutely love Sicario. It's my favorite Denis Villeneuve film. I think it has the best cinematography almost out of any film that I've ever seen. The night vision sequence just gives me chills. And I'm actually going to go through my 4Ks first, and then I'll get to the special edition stuff. Rewatched Annihilation. I actually watched this back-to-back with Dawn of the Dead, and Alex Garland, I mean, there's nothing else to say about him. He's terrific. I cannot wait for Civil War. The transfer for this is beautiful. This is the way to watch the film, is in 4K for sure. Upgrade. This one is one that I actually had never seen before, and I enjoyed it. It's this man's wife is killed, and basically he is put in this immobile state, and they do this sort of they put this thing in him, and this voice is in his head, and it controls him when he's doing these fights. It's so cool. It's so cool. Basically, just watch it. Just watch it. It's pretty badass. And I accidentally bought this on Amazon. I didn't accidentally buy it. I was going to get it, and I ordered it, and then I was like, nah, I already got the Criterion, but then it ended up coming in the mail anyway, the 4K for Dr. Strangelove. I love this film. It's probably my favorite political satire or comedy ever. Just absolutely fantastic. And the 4K is not that bad, although if you already have the Criterion, I don't know if it's worth upgrading or not. And now, let's get to the special edition stuff. So I'm actually going to go ahead and talk about this first, just because I already have a video on it. If you want to watch my souvenir video, I just uploaded it not long ago, but this is Souvenirs Part 1 and Part 2. This is an A24 special edition. I love these films a lot. Check out my video if you want me to get more in depth with them. Beast of No Nation. This is the Criterion DVD. I love Idris Elba. This is also directed by Carrie Fung. Not even going to pronounce it. I think I know how, but I'm not going to because I'll probably look like an idiot. But he also directed True Detective Season 1. And I liked it a lot. The DVD transfer for this, I actually went back and looked at it on Netflix. And honestly, Criterion, I don't know what they do with their DVDs, but Criterion's really good with their DVDs. THX 1138, this is George Lucas's directorial debut, I believe. This is the DVD, but honestly, it's not really that bad. I like this film, but I liked it in certain sections, if that makes sense. But this is a really cool sort of dystopian film with Robert Duvall. If you like George Lucas and you enjoy Star Wars, this might be worth watching just to see where he came from. But I got the really cool DVD edition. I don't know if it has a Blu-ray. It might, but I like this DVD a lot. Talk about some arrows. JSA, Park Chan-wook. I actually love this film a lot. Like, I actually think this film is better. Oh gosh, I don't know if I should say it. I think I liked it better than The Handmaiden and Oldboy, which is really cool because it's like you get to watch a few people from North Korea and South Korea, like the North and South Korean border, and sort of see them develop this blossoming friendship. And there's also this really intriguing mystery that happens at the beginning of it, and it's told in flashbacks of what actually happened. I don't want to spoil it because this is a really good movie. Watch it. I love Park Chan-wook. I love Park Chan-wook a lot. And Silent Running. I like Silent Running. This has Bruce Dern. Just a nice, good sci-fi flick. Some people might think it's cheesy, but for me, I actually found it very, very engaging. I honestly pulled on my heartstrings a little bit too. It was kind of an emotional film. But yeah, Bruce Dern. I mean, I enjoy Bruce Dern a lot. I feel like Bruce Dern is honestly one of the most underrated actors. I seriously do. He was terrific in this. There's also a 4K, I believe, but I got the arrow. Speaking of Park Chan-wook, I watched the 4K of Oldboy. This is the special neon 4K restoration. It looks beautiful. The film definitely holds up. Again, I just love everything that Park Chan-wook does. If you're going to watch Oldboy, watch this version. Watch this version if you can. Hopefully they release a cheaper 4K version down the road, but I really enjoy this a lot. After Hours. This was so much fun. This was another one that made it into my top 4 of the month. I love Martin Scorsese, of course. Griffin Dunne is honestly a very underrated actor. He was also in American Werewolf in London. But this film is like, it's like, I really hate to compare it to this film, but if you liked Uncut Gems, watch this. This is a very anxiety-ridden film. I don't want to say anything more about it. Watch this. Like, I don't like spoiling movies in my videos, so just see this film and get the Criterion version. Honestly, I think that's probably the version you're going to opt to get because I don't really think there's another good version out there. And then Blast of Silence. This is just a quick 77-minute sort of noir film from Alan Barron. He was actually known to be the next Orson Welles, but it never went anywhere. But this is actually a really, really, really nice film. There's 2 different aspect ratios. You can watch it in 1:3:1 or 1:85:1. I would actually opt to watch this in 1:85:1 if you can. Lords of Dogtown. I actually ordered this when I was filming Pesadilla. This is the unrated director's cut steelbook Walmart edition, and I love Lords of Dogtown. Heath Ledger is great in this. Lords of Dogtown is awesome. Love the soundtrack. I got a soft spot for films that are set in the 70s, but yeah, I really like this edition a lot. It was only like 12 bucks too. Frontiers, Second Sight. I love it. Something popped up. Oh, 10% back. Okay, I gotta hurry this up. Frontiers, I enjoyed it for what it was. Reminded me a lot of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but this is the Second Sight Special Edition. Love Second Sight and everything that they do. Another Second Sight, Dawn of the Dead. This is one of my favorite. This was actually number 1, my favorite film I watched of the month. I love Dawn of the Dead. Every time I watch this film, it just keeps getting better and better and better. The 4K transfer is beautiful. I've had this one for a while. I'd seen it before on Blu-ray. I have 3 copies of this film. I have a Blu-ray, I have the original special edition DVD that goes for like 300 bucks, and then I have the 4K. Yes, it's safe to say I'm a big fan of Dawn of the Dead. I even have a poster right there. Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. I had this on DVD and I got the Imprint Blu-ray. I love to support Imprint. I love everything that they do. And this is Sam Peckinpah. I believe this is the only film that Sam Peckinpah had Final Cut on. And it's good. It's a good film. It really is. It's a little slow at times, just, revisiting this Imprint version, but I love this film a lot. It's not my favorite Sam Peckinpah film, but if you love Sam Peckinpah, do yourself a favor, check out Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. And last but certainly not least, Touch of Evil, Orson Welles, Eureka 4K. This is a beautiful 4K restoration. I mean, this is absolutely gorgeous. I don't think this is better than Citizen Kane, but it's definitely up there. I mean, Eureka has been absolutely killing it with their 4Ks. Almost every label that's been coming out with 4Ks have been absolutely killing it. So if you get a chance to check out the Eureka Touch of Evil from Orson Welles, definitely check it out. But anyway, guys, that's what I watched in January. I'm going to keep saying this like I do at the end of every video. Pesadilla is almost done. It's going to be done next week. We're going to be having a premiere for it. I cannot wait to share more. Very exciting stuff. Yeah, I really cannot wait to share that film with you guys. I've been working on it for almost a year, and I'm ready to move on to something else, but I'm excited to give it to you guys. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up, maybe subscribe. Also, our Indiegogo for 2 is at almost 1,800. I'm hoping we can hit 2,000 before the Indiegogo runs. But anyway, thank you so much for donating to that. But anyway, take it easy, and I'll see you guys next time.